Hi, I'm Hannah. Thanks for watching. I was tagged in a random fragrance questions video by my friend Pep from The Sentinel, and I actually love watching these kinds of videos because they're not so focused on reviewing a perfume, but you just get to find out more about the person that's behind the channel. So since I was tagged, I am of course going to answer all the questions, just like 10 random questions about perfume collection and things like that. So stay tuned, and if you have a question that I didn't answer or like a follow-up question to maybe something I talked about, leave it in the comments and I will for sure answer it. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. First question on the list was, what is next on my to buy list? So this was actually a very easy question to answer because I have a really small short list. I don't have a lot of things that I feel like I need to add to my collection. The thing about me is I also like my collection to be at 100 bottles or less. And because I do accept PR from brands, I get bottles for free and then I add those to my collection. I count those in my collection. And so even though sometimes I declutter and I sell stuff, I find it really hard to stay at or under that 100 bottle mark. I feel like it's getting to be kind of like oppressive in a way where I feel like I have to get rid of things that I love in order to keep it under that number. And it's such an arbitrarily chosen number too. Like, why 100? Why not 50? Why not 150? So I think I need to let that go a little bit. But that being said, I feel like I really don't add things all the time. I try not to, and my to buy list is very short. So this was really easy for me. The number one thing that I want to get was Vangelis by Sylvaine Delacourt. She used to be the creative director at Guerlain, and Vangelis, I've mentioned Vangelis before. I know it because I remember talking about it. This is a vanilla perfume. It's part of her vanilla collection, and I feel like the vanilla and ambery accord that she uses is very similar to what I smell in a lot of Guerlain perfumes. So that's why I have this on my wish list. I did put it on my wish list earlier this year, but it was getting warmer, and this is a perfume that I want to experience in the winter time. So I'm waiting for it to get just a little bit colder, and then I probably will buy this. So that is the next thing that's on my wish list. That being said, today I did experience Merit's new perfume that just came out. It's a really basic pear shampoo kind of scent. It's not groundbreaking or super interesting in any way, but I did find it really pleasant and easy to wear. So I do have it on. Don't be surprised if that's the one that I actually end up getting in the month of November instead of Vangelis, which is on my wish list. I feel like that Merit perfume is so easy to buy, and this one I have to order and then cross my fingers and hope that it gets to me from France. So that's always like, I don't know, just like annoying because I feel like I have to track that package so carefully. Not that anything's ever gotten lost because I have ordered before, but okay, so there's two things on my wish list and I'll probably add one of those things. So that's on my next to buy list. The next question is, what is my favorite mainstream or designer brand? And then what is my one favorite niche brand? And I can only pick one from each category. I was thinking I would pick Guerlain or Chanel. And then I thought maybe I would pick Dior because I love Bois d'Argent and I've been wearing a ton of Dior Homme Intense in the last few weeks. So I was thinking about those. But then I decided that if I was just going to pick one mainstream brand, I would pick Frederic Malle. And I'm considering Frederic Malle to be a mainstream brand because they are owned by Estee Lauder. So what that means is that there's worldwide distribution and you can get it pretty much everywhere that you can buy Estee Lauder. I just think that there is still, like, even though they're owned by Estee Lauder, there's just a sense of refinement in everything that they put out, in all their scents and all their accessories. Even the perfumes that I don't love, I think they're still interesting and they're still very, very well made. This is just my bottle of Noir Peace, which I absolutely adore. So if I had to wear a mainstream brand for the rest of my life, I would choose Frederic Malle, and I would just burn the candles and use the linen spray and the hair mist and everything Frederic Malle. I think this is my favorite mainstream brand. It's not a designer brand, but it's my favorite mainstream brand. I'm counting it as mainstream. For my niche brand, I decided to choose MDCI. I know that they're really small and distribution is a little bit more limited. The only perfume I have from that brand is Chypre Palatin, but I've sampled lots in the line and I liked a lot of other things too, just not enough to immediately buy, but I think I would be happy wearing any of their scents forever. Again, everything is really well made and made with a sense of purpose. Like they're not trying to fill a gap in their own line of scents. I think they actually are intentional in making something that is interesting and evocative and still really high quality. And so that would be my niche brand if I was going to choose a niche brand. The next question is, what is my worst blind buy and what is my best blind buy? My worst blind buy was really easy for me to answer because it happened quite recently. I blind bought a bottle of Venice Rococo by Arquiste. It's brand new. It just launched this year, a few months ago. I liked the opening. I liked that it had rose and violet and it was quite powdery. I love powdery scents, but the dry down was just way too animalic, like dirty animalic, and the dry down has civet and castoreum in it and just really stuck to my skin, so that's all I could smell. So I really didn't like it, and I actually couldn't even review it because I didn't feel like there was anything I could say that was constructive or interesting. I'm having a hard time talking about it even now. I just recently sold my bottle, so that's gone, but that was not a successful blind buy for me, and hopefully I will not be doing any more blind buys. I definitely learned my lesson after that one. I feel like I need to be reminded of that every now and then. My best blind buy, I actually don't blind buy stuff a lot, so my best one was hard for me to figure out, but I ended up choosing Chanel Cuir de Russie, and this was a blind buy for me a few years ago, many years ago, and I love it. I know that Cuir de Russie is not for everybody because it is a leather, and I just think it's such a polished, nicely done leather. Like, it's still kind of old school and it's not like a new car smell leather. So this is a leather that I can wear and I really do enjoy wearing it. I don't wear it very often, but I adore it. And this was a blind buy. I was going through a phase when I thought I would add all the Les Exclusifs to my perfume collection slowly. Obviously didn't end up doing that, but this was a blind buy because of that, and I love it and I still have it in my collection, so that is maybe my best blind buy. I really enjoy wearing this. The next question is, what is a purchase I most regret? And I mean, I could talk about Venice Rococo because I did regret that one, but other than that, I don't know, what can I say? Je ne regrette rien. I really don't have very many regrets. I will say that occasionally I have rebought a perfume that I've ran out of, and for a second I regret rebuying it because I feel like I've already smelled it and I'm worried that I'm gonna get bored of it. But eventually I realized that I do like that scent so much that it was worth rebuying, and I like having those pillars in my collection of perfumes that I know to be good. So I might add other things that I want to experience, but I also like having things that I just know are safe and good, and my nose agrees with them, and they match my aesthetic, and I love everything about them. So something like Coromandel, you know, every time I've rebought Coromandel, I'm like, do I really need to buy it again? I've worn it so much, but it's every time I smell it, I'm like, yeah, this is really good. Like, this is everything I would want in a perfume. So I don't really have any other regrets other than that Venice Rococo, but I sold my bottle now, so that's gone. The next question was, what is my most complimented perfume? That was pretty easy. I've gotten some good compliments recently on Bon Parfumeur 303. I think that one is really potent, so people like it when they can smell it in the air. There's nothing offensive about it. Nosy Ylang Ylang is another one that is just like dreamy and tropical and so good, and I've gotten tons of compliments on that, but I haven't had that perfume for a very long time, so I don't know if it's that really my most complimented. Confetto also got lots of compliments, and I was sampling that extensively before I bought my bottle, and I've gotten tons of compliments on that one. So I would say those three are my most complimented perfumes. The next question is, what is my most expensive perfume and what is my most inexpensive perfume? My most expensive perfume, I think, would be Nightclubbing by Celine, and I like to buy the smaller bottles, so I have a 100 ml bottle of that. I think it's upwards of $350. The other really expensive perfume that I have is the Drake Carby Musk perfume oil, which was about $300 for a 10 ml rollerball oil. So that is really expensive if we're doing price per ml. But I feel like the perfume oil, you're wearing such a teeny tiny amount, and it is so concentrated. So I don't know if it's price per wear or price per ml, but those two are really expensive, and you know, expensive to the point where I pause and I consider my choices before I hit the buy button. But those are definitely the most expensive perfumes in my collection. And then the most inexpensive perfumes, I have a few cheapies that I've bought off the $21.99 rack at Shoppers Drug Mart, so those are pretty cheap. Bulgari baby perfume was one of those. I bought that last summer and loved that. But I have a few cheapies that I have. I bought a bottle of Fiji from that rack. That was pretty cheap. I think my bottle of Lagerfeld Classic was $27. That's pretty cheap. I think that's very affordable. I don't think I have anything that I've gotten that's less than $20. Even if I got it in a swap, I would have had to pay $20 shipping. So that is really, I think, the cheapest I've ever paid. And then, of course, I've gotten some things for free from PR and gifted by friends, things like that. But those are the cheaper perfumes in my collection, and I love them. I actually wear them too. I'm not someone that only wears my expensive perfume. What is the most represented brand in my collection? This was really easy. That brand is Ylang. Simply because I have so many different kinds of Shalimar in my collection. I mean, I've had the Milliseams from the past 2 years, this year and last year, and I have a few different iterations of Shalimar, and yeah, so that is the most represented brand in my collection, even more than Chanel, I think, and that was not a hard question for me to answer. The next question is, what is my favorite discontinued fragrance? Again, super easy question to answer. That one is Traversee du Bosphore by L'Artisan Parfumeur. This is a scent that is created after the idea of Turkish delight. So it's got rose, it's got a ton of powder, it opens with like an apple note, and it's a beautiful perfume to wear in the winter time, actually. So that is my favorite discontinued perfume. This is my second bottle of it. The first bottle I had bought off someone I know, and then this bottle I bought off eBay. When I saw it on sale, I hit buy immediately, and I bought it probably like the day it was listed. So this is my favorite discontinued perfume, and I will continue to wear it as much as I can. Question number 9 is, what kind of fragrance videos do I like to watch? And that is easy. I like to watch rambly, chatty kind of videos, kind of like this one. I don't mind if people are answering questions, or sometimes people just have a life update, or they're talking about their collection update, or things like that. Those are the perfume videos I like to watch. Not really lives as much, because I feel like they can get a little bit uncontrolled and not necessarily intentional about the content that is being put out. But I do like videos where people are more open and honest and kind of truthful about where they are in their journey and what they like and what they don't like. Those are my favorite kinds of videos. I guess, you know, I like the tea. I like it when people are spilling the tea and they're talking about how much they paid for something or how much something sold for. I love numbers. So anytime I can get content where it's someone that's in the industry and they're talking about what sells and what doesn't sell, or where trends are going, I love stuff like that. Those are my favorite kind of videos. I love interviews. Not necessarily when people are trying to sell something, so not really when a new perfume is coming out. Usually when someone is just a guest and they've got lots of industry experience. I love it when people are willing to share what they've learned over their years of being in the industry. I love videos like that. So that's the kind of fragrance content I like to watch. The last question is, what perfume have I worn more than any other? That was a really, really hard question to answer, because I've gone through a period where I've had a signature scent, and that was Narciso Rodriguez for her. It's in the black bottle. I still have my original bottle, so I haven't finished it, but I did wear that a lot until I met someone that had it as their signature scent, and then I kind of stopped wearing it, and I just let her wear it, and I could smell it all the time. A lot of Portrait of a Lady, but then I gave that to my mom, and that's her signature scent now, and I always felt like it was so strong when I wore it. I've worn Coromandel a lot, but I've only really discovered it a few years ago, like maybe 3 or 4 years. So I have worn that a lot. But really, the one that I have worn a lot of, that is easy to wear, picks me up every time I wear it, affordable, I don't feel like I have to be precious with it, is Meharees by L'Herbolario. I have worn this so much. This is my 3rd bottle of it, and I love it. It's just so easy. It's just lemon, sugar, and cinnamon and sweetness, and it's not very strong. I've said this so many times before, I love things that are not too strong. It's definitely in that category. I have like a rose body mist that I've worn a lot of, and I can say I've worn that a lot because I can spray so much of it. So that would be in the lineup of things that I've worn a lot of, but let's just go with. So that is it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. I know, like I said, this is the kind of content that I enjoy watching, because I like to see the person that's behind the channel and find out more about them. If there's a question that I didn't answer, or you want me to talk about some more, leave it in the comments and I will answer it as best as I can. If you're surprised that I didn't mention something like a perfume or a brand or something like that, ask me about it. I might have forgotten. I did look at my collection as I was answering these questions, so I tried to answer as best as I could. I think I also go through phases, like why did I not choose Guerlain and Chanel as my mainstream brand? I actually haven't liked the past few Guerlain releases, aside from Shalimar Jasmine. I didn't love Patchouli Paris, and I didn't love Tobacco Honey either, so I'm kind of not aligned with the direction that the brand is going in. And Chanel, I don't have anything against Chanel. I think I'm just like, I go through phases where I love niche, and then I go through phases where I love mainstream and designer, and I think I'm just in a niche phase right now. Yeah, that's just me rambling some more though. Maybe there's something else that I was going to talk about, or that you thought I was going to talk about and I just didn't, just let me know and I will answer. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to these answers, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.